So the two business guys are back, everybody. We're going to be talking about something that we have been telling you was coming for a long time, right? And Rob is releasing the Thrive in Chaos course. And Rob, talk to me a little bit about this. I'm going to pull up the book itself and how this is a extension of the book, or how are you going to
Yeah.
deliver this?
Yeah. So basically the Thriving in Chaos Time Mastery Mastermind, as we call it, we basically built this course out to operationalize everything that we have in the book. We really realized that a lot of people were loving the book. They were appreciating what they had in the book. And for those people that are, disciplined enough and structured enough, and right, for those that were good students and in school, you could just learn from the book. The book is what you got. But for those of you all that need more hands-on, that need an accountability partner, that need a little bit of explaining, or you want to be able to ask questions, all the rest of that, that's really what we designed the course for. The course is basically an 8-week course, and it's 10 weeks of videos and daily uh, 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 affirmations and all of the things that you go through to help you to not just complete it, not just get the information. One of the things we talk about, you've heard me say this before on the program, we're not just about informational education. The goal is not just so that you understand how to master your time. The goal is not just so that you understand how to move from just surviving to moving to thriving in the chaos. The goal is that you can actually apply it to your life, that you can get transformational results. And so again, if you do the book and you go through it, you can get that. But we saw that a lot of people were struggling with that. And so we're re-releasing the course. We had a lot of success the first time that we ran the Thriving in Chaos course, the Time Mastery Mastermind. We had a lot of people who felt like, I want to say 100% of the people that went through the course the first time we ran through it saved at least 5 hours a week in their time, but 50% of people who went through the course saved 10 hours or more in
Oh,
their
I love
time.
that.
And when we asked them, at the end of the course, we had them kind of evaluate that, because right, time is relative. But for those people at the wages that they were making, 87% of the people that graduated through the Time Mastery Mastermind said that the time that they regained back in their lives was worth the equivalent of $15,000 of a pay raise or more in their business. So, or in their particular job or whatever. So we've re-released it. Basically, what we're saying is, hey, for those of you all that are out there that are still stuck on that hamster wheel, for those of you all that are out there that are, what we like to call resentful martyrs, those people where everybody comes to you and asks you for everything, and you kind of in the back of your head, you want to say no, but you always smile and you say, sure, I can do that. But in your mind, you're thinking, if one more person asked me to do one more thing, right? You feel like you're ready to blow. If anybody that's in that situation where you are the go-to person, where everybody relies on you for everything, and you're figuring out how you can make that happen, that's what we built the course for, so that you can have the support that you need, so that you can have the structure that you need, so that you can have the time that you need, and hold and have somebody holding the space for your transformation. Because a lot of people feel like it's got to get done tomorrow, or it's got to get done in the next 3 days. And what we take you through in the course is how to really change some paradigms and change some habits so that you can automatically do better. And that takes a little bit of time. And so the course is there to kind of help people walk through that process.
That's good, man. One of the things that, having bought the book, that I got out of it, I want to pull it up real quick and literally just show everybody. There was this one chapter, right? And I want to pull it up, everybody. So give me a few seconds here. So, and I'm going to anoint stuff, man. I just have to. I'm sorry. I can't help myself, y'all. So when we start thinking about things that get in the way, it's something that I talk to my entrepreneurs about. It says, okay, as you are building your offense, let's think about defense. And they're going, what are you
Mm-hmm.
talking about? Here's my idea. I'm just going to go, 100% in. And I said, mm-mm. We've got to start planning for what could get in the way. And this is something that you said right here, man. This right here really made a difference for me. Let me double check. Right here, when you said inertia, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Inertia. And then you really
yeah.
started getting into it a little bit down here when you says the killers of momentum,
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah,
right? You had me at
yeah.
momentum. So
Yeah,
talk a little bit about that. Chapter 8,
yeah.
obstacles
So
that
I
may get in
think
the way.
I think a lot of things that people struggle with, and this is what we talk about in the book a lot, right? I want everybody to be clear. I know that you know what you need to be doing, right? This isn't the first book on time management you read. This is the first time you've been to a time management course or something like that. So I don't want you to think that we're bringing this to you like I'm going to show you some newfangled new thing that you've never heard of before and it's going to be amazing. No, that's not what I do for my clients. So right, I'm not the informational guy. I'm not going to try to dazzle you with all the cool stuff that I know, right? The cool thing that I think that I do for my clients and what they respect is that what I'm going to do is help you to figure out why you're not doing what you know you should be doing. And one of the things that stops people is this right here. We're talking about obstacles. Everybody knows what they should be doing. They get started and then they get stopped. And we don't know how we're getting stopped and how to overcome that. And that's what our role is. That's what we do at Legacy. We really help you to understand how to overcome that. So one of the biggest things that people run into when they're trying to start a new thing is the law of inertia, right? The law of inertia is basically a scientific physical law. It's the law of physical motion, which says things that are in motion tend to stay in motion. And then the opposite of that, things that are at rest tend to stay at rest, which basically means if you're not doing it right now, it's more likely that you're not going to do it than it is that you're going to start doing it. And the level of energy that's necessary to get you from not doing anything to doing anything is tremendous. And what most people struggle with is that they expect it to be easier to get started than it is. And then similarly, once they get it started, and this is where momentum comes in, once they get it started, they don't understand how important it is to just keep going, even if it's not perfect. Because as long as you can keep it going, as long as you can keep working, right? And in our program, one of the things that we talk about is don't miss 2 days in a row, right? If you don't watch a video, if you don't do something cool, like we understand it, life happens. But just make sure that if you miss day one, and you miss day two, you pick up on day three. Don't allow yourself to keep moving and keep missing more than 2 days in a row because now you're allowing your momentum to stop. Now you're having the laws of inertia working against you. And so many people get stuck because they don't keep their momentum going. And here's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter whether you're going half a mile an hour, 1 mile an hour, or 100 miles an hour. If you don't stop, you will get there. Now, the flip side of that is it doesn't matter if you went 99 miles on a 100-mile journey, or if you went 1 mile on a 100-mile journey, if you stop, you're not going to make that 100 miles. And that's the whole thing about obstacles. So many people run into that inertia. And one of the things we do, like, again, we hold you accountable. You're going to have a coaching cohort. You're going to have a coach. You're going to have a concierge. You're going to have people that are making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. We're going to be checking in on you. We're going to be making sure that you're getting the results that you need to be getting and just encouraging you to keep going because that's the biggest thing that I see people struggle with. So many people allow perfectionism and procrastination to stop them from doing things because we let perfect be the enemy of the good.
I
And
think
one
we
of the
got to
things you'll
talk
hear in the
about that
course a
one.
lot that we say,
This one
yeah,
right
I was going to
here.
say,
Bam.
yeah,
Right. I
yeah,
tell
there we
you,
go.
I talk about
Procrastination.
this constantly and I deal with it constantly. If I can just
Mm-hmm,
get
mm-hmm,
past it, right? Because I know,
yeah.
procrastination and fear, it's got its little friends, procrastination, perfectionism, and all
Mm-hmm,
that kind of
mm-hmm,
stuff. If I can just get past it and get that
yeah,
momentum. So here, this
yeah.
is something that really is intriguing me. And guys, I don't want to sound salesy, but I mean, the point is that when you can have somebody right there with you that's walking you through these elements, that just makes it better. But I do want to get into this a little
Mm-hmm,
bit. I want to really talk a little bit about how procrastination, it goes on to the next page. Procrastination and this thing that I hear from young entrepreneurs, overwhelm. I kind of got a feeling
mm-hmm,
about it. We've talked
mm-hmm,
about this on some of our other videos, but get
mm-hmm,
into that
mm-hmm.
a little bit. It says there are many reasons there are many reasons why people procrastinate. However, they can be grouped in three main reasons: overwhelm, fear of failing, and fear of success. Jump into that,
Mm-hmm.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. Those three, I mean, really, and this is another one of those things that a lot of people are shocked when they find out about it, right? Like most people think, and most people will say, I'm scared of failing till you actually press them on what's the consequence of failing. And what you generally will find is that overwhelm or fear of success are the things that are really bothering people. Most people know that they can do it, but they don't know how to do it. That's where overwhelm comes in, where I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to break it down. I don't know what step to do next. I don't know what I should do first or what I should do
Mm-hmm.
second or what I should do third. And you get into kind of paralysis analysis, right? There's just the there are too many choices. And so we don't know how to break them down to figure that out. And so one of the things that we help you to do is to prioritize and strategize in the course. But the other one that so many people are not aware of is the fear of success,
Mm-hmm.
right? So often we procrastinate because we have not yet prepared our minds for who we are trying to become. Right. And Robert Kiyosaki has talked about this. I've heard Tony Robbins talk about it. There's a lot of people in the personal development space that'll tell you it's not that we do the work first and then we get the things that we want and then we become the person that we want to be. It's actually the reverse. And so many people get stuck here because that fear of success, that part of not actually becoming the person who does the things will cause you not to move because you can't imagine what it's like, right? You look at the work that has to get done or whatever, or who you have to be. And a lot of people get stuck. Here's an interesting thing. A lot of people get stuck when they think about who they're going to have to leave behind when they're successful,
Ah,
or
powerful.
who they're not going to be able to hang around as much, or what people are going to think about them when they're successful. And that
Yeah.
fear of that future state of being successful will actually keep people from getting started. There's so many
Mhm.
people, and you hear about, like, when I used to coach in sports, and there was a lot of kids who, right, they wouldn't want to get good grades because they didn't want to get pulled out of their friends group, or they didn't
Mhm.
want to be
Mhm.
the best guy on the team because then they get pulled up to varsity or whatever. Now they can't hang out with their friends. And I mean, those are real things, right? We sometimes stunt our own growth because we're afraid of what that future looks like.
You know, that speaks to, I've heard this before, that survivor's guilt, right? Or get out of the neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
kind of guilt when people are
Mm-hmm.
having
Mm-hmm.
issues with that. I'm really curious about that. Um, but I want to go over to one of the other chapters that really kind of got me, man. And this one, this is big.
Mm-hmm.
Time mastery, right? And you notice
Yeah.
here, Leon, this is real talk. You see, I've already got notes in it and everything because it's that real. When we talk about 5 steps, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
No plan survives first contact, and you're constantly having to make decisions that are going to eventually have potential dire consequences. Break that out for me, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So this is a lot of this came from my training in the Marine Corps. When we went through officer training, one of the first things they had us read was a book called War Fighting. And
Mhm.
in that book, it talked about the fact that war is chaos, right? And I talk about it in the book a little bit, but the big thing that we pull away from it is so many times we want to plan and order the chaos that is life. And right, one of the things I try to help people to understand at the beginning of anything that we do working together is like you're not going to organize the chaos that is life. Like, look at any cosmology you can think of, right? You go through the Bible, you go through the Quran, you go through whatever books you want to go through that are talking about the beginning of the world and all the rest of that. Never was there an ordering of chaos. There was a bringing forth of order out of chaos, but
Mhm.
chaos still existed. And chaos still
Mhm.
had impact on that order, and that's going to be the case till time immemorial. It's the law of entropy, right? Like things move and tend to move towards chaos. That is the way that is the universe that we're in. So the key is not to try to organize the chaos or try to order the chaos or try to reduce the amount of chaos that's out there. Instead, what we have to do is remember that we are not chaotic. We are orderly. We are organized. We have a plan. We have a way of doing things and a dream and a purpose for our lives. And the whole goal is to get everything you're doing aligned with your purpose so that when you walk through the chaos parts like the sea, right? Like the chaos moves around you because the chaos doesn't affect you. So you can be in chaos, but not affected by the chaos. And that's
Mhm.
that's really what thriving in chaos means. It means that just because there's chaos out there doesn't mean that I have to negatively be impacted. And so many people, they let the external chaos that exists in the world turn to internal chaos in their lives, right? And that's where when you have all the people coming to you and saying, "Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Can I get some help? Can I get this? Can I get that? Can you take me here? Can you
Mhm.
take me there? Can I have some money?" All the people that realistically we've cultivated to come to us, because here's the dirty little secret that so many people who are struggling with time mastery don't admit. This is what we wanted.
Whoa.
We wanted to be the go-to person. We wanted to be the person that everybody believed could get it done. We wanted to be the person that when we showed up, people came to us and said, "Hey, can you help?"
What did you
That
call that,
was
martyr? What kind of
like,
martyr did you call that?
yeah, the resentful martyr, right?
Resentful
And
martyr.
right? And we wanted to be the team person that sacrificed ourselves for the team and did everything and took care of everybody else. That was actually our definition of success for a very long time. And now that we're here, we realize that there's a part of it that we don't like. And this is where the resentfulness comes from, because it feels like, well, how come they can't just understand that I need some time for me? How come everybody's always coming to me and asking me for stuff? And the reality is they're doing that because we've trained them to do that. We've conditioned people to do that. And the way that we're going to get them to treat us differently, to treat us with more respect, to respect our time, respect our boundaries, and to be able to work with us instead of just getting us to manage their responsibilities and their priorities, the way that we can become a priority again, the way that we can feel like we're working together is that we learn how to stand up and get not just to say no to people, because right, you don't have to be the no person, you don't have to be rude, you don't have to be disrespectful, you don't have to be any of that. That's not what we're trying to be, because
Just show them
right,
your
I've,
schedule
I've
like
talked
you
to
do
so many
me.
people. Exactly, right.
You find room on the
Exactly.
schedule.
That's the whole key. That's the whole key. The whole thing about it is, right?
Love
Because
it.
I was the same person. Like I know this because this was me, right? Like I was working 10, 12, 14 hours, feeling like everybody was always coming to me and being frustrated because I'm in my office alone. Everybody at home with their kids, doing whatever they want to do, going to baseball games, all this type of stuff. I'm still at the office, right? I lived that life. And what I realized was I had to set and enforce boundaries for me. But I wasn't gonna be the person that's like, no, I'm not gonna help you. I ain't got time. I couldn't be that person. That's not in my spirit. That's not who I am.
Hmm.
But what I realized, and we call this the thriving principle, right? The thriving style of leadership. What I realized was I got to take care of me first, because if I am empty, everybody that I serve is lacking because I can't help anybody. I can't fill in anybody. If I burn out, and everybody who benefits from me is losing a resource,
Hmm.
right? And
That's good for
the
business
key,
owners,
oh, it's
right?
tremendous for business owners, right? And the key thing though is you have to figure out how to enlist them into helping you solve the problem together, instead of just putting it on your desk and saying, "All right, thanks, appreciate it. Just let me know when you got that taken care of." It's not how we roll, right? And Stephen Covey talks about it like this: so many people try to be independent. We try to get to the point where we don't need anybody else,
Uh-huh.
and we think that that is the height of adulthood. But the reality is, no, height of adulthood is interdependence, is when you understand your role and everybody else's role and how interdependent we are upon each other, so that you can call people and ask for what you need and give what they need as well. And so one of the things that we talk about in the course and we teach people how to do, because it's one of the most difficult things that we teach in the course, and in the book I talk to you about it, it's one of the most difficult things to do, and that is to set and enforce boundaries.
Mhm.
Most people struggle at enforcing boundaries because, again, we don't want to be the no person. But the key that you got to understand is, in order to say yes to anything, it means that you have to say no to everything that's not that thing, right? Gary Keller talks about this in his book, The One Thing.
That's
And that's a
interesting.
reality, right? That's a reality.
Yeah.
That's what we have to deal with. So now the question is, do I want to be the one to say no to you, or do I want you to say no to you?
I like what you said here. I want to show this again, everybody. You said it in step 2B, chapter 5,
Mm-hmm.
aligning goals. This is powerful. Aligning goals. Let me move this out of the way. And
Mm-hmm.
establishing your priorities. Because you have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that's got goals, but how
Mm-hmm.
prioritized are those goals? That's what I'm just curious about,
Right.
right? Right here, aligning
Right.
goals. And you said, how do I make all of this stuff work? That's what
Right.
people I think are oftentimes asking themselves, right? How do I make it
Mm-hmm.
work? And then how
Yep.
is it? What's the consistency gene here? What am I going to do after that?
Yeah.
Speak to that
Yeah.
for us.
A lot of people struggle with it, right? We are really good at knowing what we're supposed to do. We're not as great at figuring out what order to do it in. And one of the funny things about it, right? If you play the game of chess, generally an average chess player may see one or two moves ahead. A pretty decent chess player seeing maybe 3, 5 moves ahead. A master chess player seeing 20, 25 moves ahead, right? But all of that doesn't matter if you do the moves in the wrong order. If you do move number 3 when you're supposed to be doing move number 1, or you do move number 14 when you're supposed to be doing move number 5, you're gonna lose just like an amateur,
Mm. Is that where
right? And
systems and
so
routines and stuff like that come into play? Right?
that's where systems and routines and everything come into play, because once you can put everything in order, then it becomes easy. And this quote from Peter Drucker is the key to it, right? Systems and routines allow people with little experience and no judgment to complete tasks that would otherwise take near genius to accomplish. And so often we think that, the people that are mastering their time, they know so much more than I know, or they have so much more time or so much more power, or so much more money. It's like, no, they have better systems because most of the decisions that they're making, they're not even making. Most of the things, one of the things we talk about in the time mastery mastermind is how you can hack habit, how you can sustain the transformation that we teach you through the course, and how you can actually make it so that the majority of your decisions are success-based decisions. And
Mhm.
that is not even something that you have to think about. What we do is we create certain habits that put you in the right position, whether you are trying to be in the right position or not. Right? It's kind of like you ever driven home and you drive home all the time. You don't even got to think about it how you get home. But you ever driven home and you're supposed to stop at the store, you're supposed to stop at the gas station, you're supposed to stop at the bank or something on your way home, and then you wind up in your driveway and you're like, dang it, I'm supposed to be somewhere. And because you got distracted listening
Yeah,
to something or
yeah,
talking or
yeah.
doing something, and you wind up back at home. That's because getting home was a habit. Your mind
Mhm.
and your body did it automatically. You didn't even have to think about how to get there because you already knew how to do it. And that's what we want to do with success habits. We want to put you into a position where you are thriving on autopilot,
Mhm.
right? Where success is where just survival is your floor and now thriving is just what you do because it's second nature. That's what we're doing in the mastermind and really helping people to do this. And one of the things that we do in the mastermind, I always like to call it stump the chump, right? Because like everything sounds great, in
So,
theory, right? When right, it's a book. I'm pretty good at writing, right? I went to school. I got a bunch of degrees that taught me how to write really nice words, right? Like so, the book is gonna sound really awesome, but I want you to know that the book isn't written just from the perspective of I want you to think that I'm smart. The book is written from the perspective of I always tell my clients, test me, don't trust me, right? Put
mm,
what I'm saying to the
powerful.
test. Actually see whether it works. And when you think that it doesn't, one of the cool things that you can do in the course is that you can actually reach out and ask questions, right? You can actually say, hey, I was trying to do this and I had this issue. How do I overcome that?
Yeah,
How do I work through that? That's why we put the course together for those of you all to really be able to get the hands-on help that you need from me and my team of
yeah.
coaches who are going to help you to get all of that work done.
And that was my question. It's like, okay, well, hey, look, I got the book. It costs a couple bucks. I can get it from Amazon. What's the difference? And you just explained it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about expanding it, more hands-on, pulling some principles from it, but at the same time, everybody's situation is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Go into a couple of more. What is the
Yeah.
difference between me spending a couple bucks here and spending a couple bucks on, or
Oh
spending a
yeah.
couple bucks on the actual course?
Yeah. The big thing that I would say with the course, first of all, you can't put everything into the book, right? We had to make the book user friendly. We had to make it digestible. We had to make it so that it could apply to as many people as possible. With the course, one of the things that we do is we've limited the cohort. So the cohorts are small. You're in a group with no more than 10 people in your group. And what that allows for is it allows you to get your questions asked. It allows you to make sure that you're applying it directly to your life. And more importantly, it allows you to learn from other people's questions as well, because you get
Mhm.
to see other people who are going through the same thing that you're going through. And during that time, you get to hear the coaching, because sometimes when you hear it for another person, right, it hits you differently. And so
Mhm.
that's one of the big things. Another thing that comes with the course and this is one of the things that I'm most proud of that we put together with the course. Again, the there have been a number of studies that talk about how to build habits, right? And for so many people, right, I've run this course a number of different ways. I used to run it in a half day workshop. I used to run in a full day seminar. I did it for about 6 weeks one time. And what we learned was the studies talk about that to take a new behavior and make it a habit takes anywhere from about 60 to 90 days, right? On average. And the reason why we chose to make the course 10 weeks, right? 77 days is because it's right in the middle of that 60 and 90-day spot. And
Gotcha.
what it does is it gives you enough guided time to go from a novice to not knowing how to do this stuff, to trying it, to applying it, to moving it with coaching, with everything. And so that by the time you graduate from the course, you've now built the habits that we're talking about instead of just intellectually saying, yeah, I get that. That makes sense. No, we're going to apply it. And then you're going to try, and then you're going to fail a little bit. And then you're going to re calibrate, and then you're going to iterate some more, and you're going to have a coach alongside you every week. You're going to be able to go back and then talk to your coach and figure out what's going on. And the other thing that you're going to have available to you that we weren't able to put into the course, we got a lot of or into the book, we got a lot of resources available in the book, but in the course, not only do you have a video every day for the 77 days, right? We've got a video or some sort of assignment or motivational, inspirational quote, something
I
like
love
that for
that.
you every day while you're in the course. But we also have templates, we've got worksheets, we've got meditations, we've got a whole bunch of stuff embedded into the course that allows you to kind of overcome all the different things that you need to overcome emotionally, psychologically, as well as with your time. Because remember, what we talked about is you got to become the person that is a time master. That's the first thing. We're going to work on your mind. We're going to help you see yourself and overcome that fear of failure. We're going to help you overcome that overwhelm that comes with trying to change this and trying to become the type of person who can take care of yourself and everybody else, the type of person who no longer says there's not enough time to get everything done because everybody has the same 24 hours in a day that you do, right? Elon Musk is running three multi-billion dollar companies in the same 24 hours that you got, right? Richard Branson is running 400 companies in the same 24 hours that you got, right? Tyler Perry is running an entire movie studio and putting out 50 shows on different networks in the same 24 hours a day that you got, right? Like, so we're going to move away from that space of being constrained by time, and we're going to become time masters throughout this
That's it.
course.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to leave all the necessary links for everybody. So, I do know that these things oftentimes fill up pretty fast. So, what I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
do is probably have a join the wait list just in case you don't make it in, and then maybe even get instant access, right? To
Mm-hmm.
see
Yeah.
if that's a possibility as well. So, everybody, just
Yeah.
be on the lookout for it. We're going to go ahead and leave it available to you, and hopefully, you're able to get into this particular cohort and get started. All right,
Yeah,
everybody. We'll see
definitely. And
you.
make sure that you all click the link quickly because we already got one slot it's gone, and we got a couple more that I just heard from my team are getting ready to go. There's only 10
Yep,
in this initial cohort. So act fast.
there it is. All right, we'll talk to you on the next video.